Hi, Jim Ziegler, the Alpha Dog, and I've got one incredible broadcast for you today. Uh, our guest today, Nick Askew, the CEO of Space.Auto. Now, of course, he's a technological wizard, but he's having a little technological problem right now, so he might show up. But in the meantime, I've got the brains of the operation, my friend Taylor Bartholomew. Hey, Taylor, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing great. I'm normally Nick's stunt double, so I'm happy to get some limelight here.
Oh, I love Nick Askew. I hope he gets it worked out. I'll bring him on the show if he gets it worked out. Hey, listen, guy, Space.Auto. Everybody's talking about all the claims you guys are making, the new CRM, one conversation. Tell me about the company. Tell me about the products. Tell me what you're doing. I mean, we've made some pretty grandiose claims.
Yeah, well, we really believe that this industry is ripe for change. We think that, hey, there he is. We really think that this industry is ripe for change, and we look at what dealerships are having to deal with, and we see an industry that hasn't been innovated in 10 or 15 years. Really, people are
Wait
just
a
sort
minute,
of repackaging the
you mean
same ideas.
Vin Solutions is not
I didn't
state of
say
the
that,
art?
Jan. I
I
didn't say
did.
that. You said that.
Nobody said that
Nobody
yet.
said that Vin Solutions is not state of the art. Nobody said
Yeah.
Vin Solutions is putting band-aids on old platforms. Nobody said
Yeah.
that.
No. And I get it from their perspective or whoever's perspective. It's like when you've spent 15 years developing technology, you can't just start over. So I get it from their perspective, but we're in this really cool position where we can come in and say, well, like, what do dealers actually need right now? And Nick and I have kind of architected this system that is a one solution sales funnel for dealers, where we take you, really the customer, all the way from a marketing ad all the way through to desking a deal. So that's really our vision, is
Unbelievable.
one
Well,
smooth
a
system.
CRM is supposed to transact. Now, Nick hammered that home with me. You're supposed to be able to work a deal with your CRMs. They call these things solutions, and to have a solution, you've got to have a solution. Nick, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jim? Great. Now we're talking to you, but I completely agree, and I agree with the thing I already told you, right? So it's I'm agreeing with myself here. And
I
my
hope you
wife would say
do.
that's
I
typical.
got to agree with Nick here on this one.
Yeah, you work for him. You better.
Yeah, but that is the truth. In a lot of CRMs, even the new age sweetheart CRMs of today, do really great jobs at focusing on how can we have fun with communication and connect with people. But if you look at the questions that people ask, and what they're actually trying to get is, I want real data. It's not just, do you have an Ultima in stock? What time does your service department close? It's like, I want to know how much that's going to cost me, right? So unless your CRM is equipped to be able to actually handle transactions, you're not able to help your customer. And guess what? What do dealers want to make? Not communications. They want to make money, right? And how do they do that? Selling cars.
You might have noticed that Nick has an accent. He's from Alabama.
Thank you for noticing. Yes.
Nick, you guys have spent $1 million on developing this platform.
I think it was $1 million last time we spoke, which is a drop in the bucket. No, we've far surpassed that, but we can surpass that. We've had great success from our products, and we've been able to, I'm really proud that we've been able to pour every piece of revenue that we have not into, lining a venture capital firm's pockets, or, a parent conglomerate. And we're not, by the way, we're also not, answering to the public with a publicly traded company. No, we say we're going to take all of this capital that we make, pour that right back into making our products better.
You guys are profitable. I was, last time we spoke, you were just launching the product. and you're already profitable. You've got some really premier clients in the industry.
Yeah, you know, we've been really fortunate to have a great network, you know, and that comes from, you know, partially take a little bit of credit for that because I sold cars for so long. You know, that was a thing that was great to us because, you know, we had connections that really gave us the full the start to what we needed to do. But you know, selling cars and knowing people in the business and spending many years coming to places like Internet Battle Plan and learning from the best.
Oh,
You know, you meet a lot of people, right?
Internet Battle Plan. I miss those days. That was a great conference.
It was a great conference. But yeah, we were very fortunate to have a great group of dealerships that believed in what our vision was, and were able to come with us really early. You know, you've got a lot to prove as a small. You know, we hear things. I heard this week from someone I won't name that I really respect into this industry, and it's like, you don't have as deep pockets as VinSolutions. And it's like, okay, cool, right?
Deep pockets. It doesn't sell customers. Performance sells customers. Now, exactly. The buzzword in the industry right now is AI. Who? Everybody's talking about AI, artificial intelligence. And, you know, artificial intelligence, when I think of AI, I think of Haley Joe Osment, the little kid, you know, the little robot kid. That AI is mostly in text, and a lot of corporations claim to have it. Tell me about AI.
Well, I'm going to let Taylor speak more technically about AI. I'm going to first hit AI as it relates to automotive. You know, there are multiple types of AI. The biggest thing that everyone's talking about right now, and AI has been around for a while, right? You know, AI has been in lead scoring in lots of different things, but what people are talking about right now is a very distinct flavor of AI, which is generative AI.
Machine learning.
Yes. And actually creating content with it. You know, this is the mid-journey, you know, AI image creation. This is ChatGPT, if anyone's ever heard of it, right? This is called generative AI. And for automotive, this is now going to play a really big part of it. Part of what's going to make AI successful. Now, with automotive and AI, there's some really unique opportunities to actually do something meaningful with it and not just generate content. So that's, you know, we're on the cusp of that being implemented right now. And what the thing is that it needs to be able to be successful is a boatload of data.
Yeah, we actually talked about VinSolutions, and I don't want to pick on VinSolutions. Yes, I do. No, anyway, I don't want to pick on VinSolutions, but the truth of the matter is that's not your competition. Your competition is some of the new sweetheart technologies that have just launched into the industry. That's your competition. You're going heads up against the new CRMs, and I'm not going to say names, drive-centric tech yet, but I'm not going to say the names. But still, in all, you know, there is some new players in the block that you position yourself against.
Oh yeah, on the CDP side as well as CRM side as well. There's a couple of new sweethearts or people that have just, you know, raised lots of funding to be able to build those centralized data systems. So yeah, you're absolutely right. VinSolutions, in my opinion, in understanding the data structure, because those companies are fragmented enough, what it really takes is that centralized system to be able to have the logic to be able to create meaningful things. You know, your brain, let's take the human brain, for example. You know, generative AI and let's say ChatGPT is just the speech and language part of the brain. Well, you've got all of the other things that it requires to be able to, you know, to power that. And that's what AI needs. AI needs service records. It needs DMS records, conversations. It needs advertising information. It needs all of these things to be able to give the customer what they need. Because if not, you're just like an old chatbot that says, hey, you know, what can you give me for my trade? And they say, that's a great question. Let me ask my manager. What's your name, number, and email, and I'll give you a call. It's useless, right? So And like this user said here, it's been used for decades. And, pulling a ton of data to be able to build those things. Well, AI needs real-time data to be able to, communicate something meaningful. So,
well, what services have you're talking about one conversation? One conversation between what? What's communicating in your processes? What have you developed?
So,
CRM. Okay, we touched on CRM. What else do you have?
Yeah, so that's not to give up too much futuristic secret sauce. So with us, we want to be able to build everything that is what a dealer uses to communicate, what a customer uses to communicate. Now we think about what are the pieces of that, right? Well, typically you have a CRM. If you've got a good one, it does a little bit more than just communicate, right? Your customers, they generally come to the website, and then you've got this kind of gray area in the middle of conversion, whether that's they're going to call, text, email, they're going to fill out a form, they're going to go into digital retailing, they're going to desk a deal themselves. All of these things really is a lot of people really want to think about them as separate products and separate entities. But if you break it down to its core, it's someone wanting to sell a car and someone to buy a car, right? So if we think about that process and all of the crazy roadmap that gets there and simplify that down into giving what the customers want, that's what we build. So now going back to your question about AI, right? How does AI play a part in that? It can play a part in customer communication, it can play a part in answering customers' real questions like, how much is this vehicle? What kind of payment could I have on an Ultima, right? If you have all of the subtasks and all of the information at your disposal, AI can really answer that question. If you want to generate great SEO content, websites, imagery, layouts, if you want to recommend banks, payments, exactly right there, digital to driveway, everything in between. Look, if you think about a desk manager, a really good desk manager that sits used car department selling 200 cars a month, how many deals could they possibly work? Maybe 1,000 a month.
There's Brett Sutherland, one of my premier dealers, one of the biggest dealers, fastest growing dealers in the country. He's asking, do you have AI integrated into your system?
Yeah, I'll let Taylor take that one. The answer is yes.
Taylor, jump in there. Brett's pretty technological. He'll answer.
Yeah, Brett, thanks for asking that one. We do have AI integrated into our system, and we have generative AI, the GPT flavor of AI integrated in our system. What that means is, we are generating conversational recommendations for the dealer. So, you go into our CRM and there's a conversation happening in a thread. It's email, text messages, and it's just a chronological thread of everything you've said with that customer. And then we're using AI to recommend the next response and or next action that you can take. It's not going to send it for you because, talking to customers, nobody really wants AI just answering on their behalf. There's still magic within a personal human conversation. And so we just want to give people a good launching point. Now I'll say that, this AI suggestions feature is one of many that's coming. And, to circle back on the question that you were asking, Jim, is like, why can we do this different? Because we're owning the whole story, we can equip the AI to answer questions, to make recommendations, to have it do different actions dynamically based on the entire customer journey. You're not just getting the front end of the customer journey or the back end of the customer journey. You're getting the whole picture, and the AI is getting the whole picture, and it can look and say like, hey, Kevin went to the website 4 times. He looked at this Jeep Wrangler and this Cherokee, and then he texted us, and then he filled out a trade application. And then he said these 5 things. We said this, what should we do next? And, a lot of people are freaked out about, what does AI look like in every industry? Everyone's like, well, what does this mean for my job? And, I like to be a little more optimistic than some of the doom and gloom with AI, in the sense that AI is going to give us all superpowers in the future. And this AI suggestions is just one of dozens of AI powered features that we're going to be releasing over the next year. And, we just want the dealers to feel like they have superpowers.
Very good. Thank you for translating what Nick was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a pretty lengthy diatribe on the sidebar. Let me put it on the screen for you here. I think he's rephrasing what you're saying. I think he's translating Nick.
Yeah, he's doing a little translation, but you know what? It's true. You don't want to have to unwind that, but we also don't want. Here's what we understand, and what Taylor's saying is absolutely correct about giving people superpowers, right? It's not us or AI. It's not human beings and salespeople or an AI selling the car, right? It's how can a desk manager structure a deal in the most profitable way? How can a salesperson say the best thing to the customer to be able to move it along and move the conversation along while adhering to the dealership's goals, brand tone, everything, right? Because if I have one of my big multi-rooftop buy here, pay here's, and I got a BMW store, right? They got different goals. They got different ways of speaking with customers. So we have to be able to create things that help them do their jobs better. But there's so many jobs throughout the dealership that can actually be just enhanced with AI. And it's not just throwing a chatbot on the website, right? It goes much deeper than that. It's structuring deals, it's communications, it's image editing. So how can we get cars to market faster? How can we respond to customers better? How can we make more profitable deals? Right?
Now, Nick, let's go back. You came out of retail.
I did come out of retail, yes.
Right. You were. I think you were in Texas, weren't you?
Yeah, in Texas, multi-store. I sold car. I worked the service drive, sold cars, finance, desking, and then digital director.
Yeah, that's the problem with so many technology vendors today. They've never been on our side of the equation. They never actually were dealing with customers in real life. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and I said, the problem, and he was with a company that has pretty well crashed. 3 years ago was one of the major CRMs in the market, and now they're just a fragment of what they once were. And I told him, I said, you know what happened? They let the programmers program what they thought dealers should do instead of listening to us on what we do. They didn't look at what dealers do in actuality. They were programming everything based on what they thought we should do. And that is why, you having a retail background has made Space so successful.
Yeah, I think it's important. And look, I think it'd be arrogant to say that we build everything meet every need of every dealer and every idiosyncrasy of every dealership.
Be arrogant. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we're phenomenal, right?
You're allowed. This is Ziegler.
Ego's unleashed.
Love me dearly.
But I think there is some magic in actually, being someone that's sitting on the desk and working 4 deals at once and going, oh my God, like, why can't this just be everything that I need? Why am I entering this data twice? Why do I have to go back to this screen? Like, there's little things that I think a lot of companies miss out on that just actually make your day harder as a salesperson or a finance manager or whoever, right? You don't know that unless you've been working 5 deals at once, and then you see one of your customers leave and you're like, then you have experienced that panic, right? So I think that does really help. And I'm not the only person from retail on the team either, and I think that's also helpful. People in
how big is the team?
42 now.
You've got 42 people. I mean, this isn't This isn't you and Taylor, a little startup operating out of mom's basement.
No, we got like a real office and everything.
Okay, so just tell me more about what your services are, Taylor. I know you're Nick's stunt double, but go ahead and jump in here a second.
Yeah, for sure. You asked what our services are, and Jim, I don't want to come on here and just like talk about our products the whole time. I think there's a lot to talk about in the AI space and what that means for our dealers. But really quickly, we offer one sales funnel, but that consists of this sort of like modular system that you can implement however you want. We understand that
they can buy all of it or pieces of it.
Right. The vision is like, hey, this is like one sales funnel for you. If you imagine right now your system is just a bunch of adapters, like we sell like the one nice piece of plumbing, and yeah, you can still use your adapter if your OEM makes you, but like, our vision is like the customer coming down from bottom to top. And that means we'll run your ads, we'll set you up for SEO, Google My Business. We'll build your website and make sure traffic is going to the website. We're in charge of all of your lead forms on the website, your inventory.
That's what I wanted to hear. You do everything
that
a dealer needs to have one conversation. I go to dealerships all the time, and I talk to dealers all the time. And what I hear is I walk in, and everybody's got their head down because managers are having to operate 3 different vendors on 3 different computer screens at the same time. You've got one computer screen. Everything is operating, one conversation, no matter what application you're using, it's one conversation.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, taking this back to the AI a little bit, it's not, obviously that makes it easier on people, the customer, and it makes it easier on the dealers. But our real goal is to get our dealers doing the thing that they're actually at the dealership to do, which is to interact with people. Carvana bombed because no one wants to press buy now on a $30,000 car on their computer. Like, people want to go in, they know what they want, but they want somebody who knows cars to tell them what they need and to make sure that they're making a good decision, And so dealers obviously have some like reputation repair work to do with the average customer, but customers still want that interaction. It's proven just by the performance of these direct to consumer experiences. And so having one journey, our goal is to make it to where you can maximize the amount of time that you're spending with those people, because talking to every one of our customers, that interaction, an appointment, someone coming in and putting their hands on the steering wheel, like that's the thing that makes the biggest impact on their sale.
Look at this comment on the sidebar here. That would have made my job so simple. I mean, what more could you say as a testimonial for having one conversation, one computer screen? You don't have to switch vendor to vendor to vendor to vendor on all your computer screens. And I've seen dealers that had sales managers that had 3 or 4 CRM everything working at the same time. The BDC, same situation. No. One conversation.
It's time. It's time for everyone to get with the future and to come and feel like they're not hindered by their tools. Like, that's not something that you should be feeling in 2023.
I've got some competitors on the sidebar. Okay. Nick, you wanted to jump in there?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about, if we're, as a software company, especially one that handles the communications between customers and dealers, if we think the salespeople, this is exactly right. If we think, right, as a prior GM, I'd have 12 to 15 tabs open. Absolutely true, right? But then think about your customer. If the dealer's frustrated because they have to go so many places, what about your customer that puts in a trade form, but that's just your website trade form? That's not your real trade form. No, you get to the dealership and you go do your real trade form because they go devalue it.
No. Quit it.
Right? But then then now they take that to the sales manager, and the sales manager goes, oh, well, I've got to type this into Auto. Like, the sales manager's frustrated. You have 12 to 15 tabs open, right? But then what does that do to your customer? It makes them go through the process twice, and it makes them sit there for 4 hours. And that's the thing about going to buy a car that no one likes. It's like, I don't want to go to a car dealership because it's going to take 4 hours to work the deal, and then I'm going to have to sit in finance for 2 hours and have someone tell me why I need VinEtch, right? Speed is power, time is money. Absolutely correct. So if your sales managers and your people are feeling that burn, bet your ass your customer is too.
Yeah,
I would agree. Speed is power. I love that. I'm going to use that in my seminars.
Yeah, I'm taking a picture of it. Got that one.
Speed is absolutely power. Taylor, you look like a little puppy circling about to pee. You know, but what do you want to say right now?
You know, I mean, I have a lot of thoughts around the disruption that this industry is desperate for, but you know, there's a huge disruption happening in the entire world right now with the entrance of generative AI. And so, you know, dealers are about to be 2 steps behind instead of just 1 step behind on technology and what it could be used for. And, you know, just to give you like a little vision of the future, you know, because this AI is so powerful, you know, in the future, your automated emails, you know, all of your marketing is going to be way more personal. You're going to be able to have AI reach out to a specific person on your behalf as part of your automations and talk to that customer based on your interactions with them. It's not, you know, it's not some generic, you know, chat bot that you experience on any, you know, crappy website. It's personal, you know, and we'll see the impact of that multiply as this technology becomes more and more available. You know, like Nick was hinting at, you know, we're about to get what's called multimodal AI, and that's a really fancy word for you know, AI is about to be able to watch videos and look at pictures and take that and then incorporate it with the text and help make decisions or do actions based on those things. So, you know, this isn't AI as a disruption on top of like us just trying to make the funnel clean for you guys. The AI disruption is another piece that we, you know, I said the superpower thing already, but that's really what it is like, it's not going to come in and take your job. It's just going to allow you to interact with 10 times the amount of customers with the same level of quality.
Or better quality, because quite frankly, the way that our AI is trained and the access that it has access to, you know, it can write responses faster, better, and more accurate than most salespeople can.
Yeah.
Right.
We took we talk to our customers pretty frequently, and you know, this is something I've heard from multiple internet sales managers, but you know, one in particular I was talking to, I won't say his name, but he was talking about how he handles all of the digital communications with the customers because he doesn't trust the sales guys to be coherent or to say things that are helpful or in the way that, you know, is within the dealership's voice. And, you know, one of the cool things about the AI feature we just released, you know, it'll make suggestions, but you can tell it what your goals are. You can tell it what your voice is. You can be like, hey, we're friendly, helpful, you know, or we're very premier, we're luxury, you know, and then you can say like, hey, we're trying to push trade applications. And the AI will take those little pieces of information for your dealership and feed it to the rest of your staff. And when they're messaging people, the AI is going to give those recommendations to them and help them be more in line with that. So you could, you know, way more than 10x your outgoing digital communications.
And not only that, I mean, that's a think about the other barriers it removes, right? So, and I'll talk about some things that we have just in our own CRM as some examples, right? This is not the be-all end-all approach, but think about how many people we have wanting to speak to someone in native Spanish, right? Customer texts in, comes on the website, they're a Spanish speaker. Oh, well, your Spanish speaking salesperson, the one that you have, is now tied up with customers. But what if Jim could speak to me in Spanish? He's probably not gonna. Look at him. Yeah, fair assumption. But what if Jim spoke to me in fluent Spanish in his dialect, and I spoke back to him in English?
La
And what I
plata
saw
está caliente.
perfect.
The plate is hot.
Right? What about your salesperson that does a really good job at selling? I went and visited a dealership in person recently and set them up with a CRM, and I had a salesperson pull me aside and say, "Hey, I'm illiterate, and I'm going to be honest with you. Like they expect me to do these things, and I really struggle reading. I can write numbers, I can do all of this. I struggle reading. Well, you know what? What if you can voice right into into it, and then click the AI button? It will rewrite it for you with all the punctuation and everything that you need, right? Think about AI, and you talk about superpowers. And I know this is a really small example, but you just gave that guy a superpower that he did not have, and that's to be able to read and write and communicate effectively. Those are the kind of things that we forget that AI can also help with. So it's not in competition for his job. It now allows him to make money and do the thing that he couldn't do before, which was use a CRM.
And spend more time with the hot prospects and further down in the funnel. Look at this statement that just came in.
Yeah, exactly. Dealers are just now figuring it out to text customers with video and ask, which, by the way, you can also do in our CRM just fine.
You can text them through your CRM. Okay.
Yeah, you can text. You can add text video natively. It's not going to compress it like it would if you send it to an Android. Sorry, Android users. And that's the thing. It's trying to make this. It's like these comments are segueing into the right conversation. That's the thing. You do that, and you give that accessibility to people. There are people that deserve to have jobs and deserve to make money, and are really good, honest car salespeople. They get flustered with technology, right?
Absolutely.
You make it so simple to use that they can't make a mistake.
I just put your official phone number on the. I hope you don't mind. I just published your phone number, Nick.
Well,
every episode.
I did every episode. I'm going to be a sly dog this time. That's our sales phone number, so not my personal anymore.
Okay,
I got it.
Okay,
because you got me last time.
Last time I put your cell phone on.
A cell phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do want to speak to
call him anytime. 3:00 in the morning. Nick don't care.
Yeah, fine.
I do want to speak to the simplicity factor, because we haven't really hit, for people who haven't heard us talk about this, is like the AI stuff is great. It's really cool, but it's all a loss for us if we can't make it simple for dealers to use. We know a huge problem is getting adoption within a dealership to, getting your salespeople to actually use the CRM. And, we heard dozens of times, garbage in, garbage out. If your people aren't using it, then it doesn't really help your dealership, right? So, our big mission is not just to make it easy for the customer to get into your funnel, but also for the dealers to interact in a really easy way. And it's like, keep it simple, stupid. Yeah. And it's just like, I came in outside of the automotive industry, and I came in and started asking some questions, and it seems so complicated on the outside. But Nick said this from the beginning, is it's someone who wants to buy a car and someone who wants to sell a car, and it's not that complicated, and it's become convoluted over time because of lots of people just wanting to sell dealers stuff that they don't need, and we're here basically to try to undo some of that mess and say, like, how do we make this easy? Because ultimately, like, if we make it easy for you, and your new hire can open up our CRM and not need any training on it, can just intuitively understand it because he's sent a text before, he's sent an email before, you know, that's, you know, 30, 60 days that you got back with that, you know, with that employee, because you didn't have to spend all that time training them, right? So
How many dealers do you have online right now? How many dealers do you have your systems in place?
Space.Auto as a whole has about around just around 100 dealers, Jim.
About 100. So you've certainly got the references. How long have these dealers been with you?
You know, so Space.Auto actually stemmed from our creative and marketing agency that we started about 4 years ago called Luminary 2, and some of our dealers actually are still with us from the old company, and we have a very low churn rate. And
people don't leave you. I've seen that, and you know, once you've got a client, they stick with you.
Well, you know, we have great service. We have one-to-one US-based service, which is something that, you know, you say that our competitors aren't, you know, those companies we spoke about. But if you look at the landscape of even like website support.
Okay, wait a second. 100% US-based service. You know
Yes.
what I really hate? My God, it's India.
Well, you know, wherever they are, wherever they are, it's important to understand that dealer's goals and who they are, and that they're in East Texas, or they're in Kentucky, or they're in New York City, and they have this business model and these key differentiators, and they speak to their people like this, right? That's an important thing. You know, and I think if a dealer calls us and says, hey, can we change this on our website? We don't just go, hey, here you are. We really take into consideration those dealers' goals. So I think US-based support is great. Our product's great. But I think the thing that dealers really like about working with us is that, it's going back to earlier in the conversation, we put everything that we make back into making new features for dealers and listen to what dealers want. We're making it not just for customers, but we're making the tools that dealers ask us for, and we listen. And what anyone really wants is just to be heard, right? So that's how we keep our dealers.
You know, Nick, I got to tell you, this is one of the biggest audiences I've had in quite a while. We got a lot of people that are interested. You know, it's not because we drew a big audience. It's because a lot of people are interested in what you have to say. It's a huge audience out there, and I'm getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions, a lot of stuff on the sidebar. The stuff we're getting on the sidebar that says Facebook user is coming out of my private groups, and the private groups won't identify the name of the user. That's why it says Facebook user. But our LinkedIn people aren't even showing up here. We got a ton of people on LinkedIn watching this broadcast. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's really incredible how many people are on the broadcast. So let's tell everybody what we haven't told them so far. What have we not said?
Well, I kind of want to have a conversation about the future and really because I think this AI buzz as well is, you know, people vaguely understand it, and people vaguely understand the implications. And I want to think about what AI can actually do, and start a conversation about, okay, generative AI. We all understand that if you give it a bunch of data and you say, hey, do you have any Nissan Altimas in stock? Great. It knows that you've got one in stock. It can look at your website, your inventory, everywhere. Here you go. But there's a lot of questions that are follow-ups to that. Okay, you're looking for a Nissan Altima. Well, how much can you afford? You know, what specifications, what kind of features are you looking for? And traditional search and the UI of a website platform was built because, guess what? Humans don't know how to speak to code. We don't speak code. We speak language, and we have eyes and hands, and that's why we have a mouse and a keyboard, and we can click on stuff. But what we don't get is this dynamic prompt of like, okay, Jim, you're looking for an Altima. That's great. How else do I answer those questions to be able to answer? What questions can AI ask to be able to help you make that decision? Now, let's give you an example. How much does this Altima cost? Well, if you had access to real-time bank data, incentives, soft pull credit, now you can answer those questions immediately. You have the ability actually not just to give customers data, but maybe the ability to even write data permanently to the database, right? So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That we think for the future, and that what people maybe aren't even understanding the implications of is that it's not what a customer sees or someone sees to present data. It's when that customer responds, how can you control things? How could you control getting your trade valued by AI? How could you say, hey, how much is my trade worth? And they say, well, what's your VIN and your miles, right? Those are the kind of things that can be done with AI that people aren't even exploring yet. Well, some people are.
I want to jump in here because I don't want to talk trash about competitors, and I think
Sure
everyone's
you do. Sure you do.
well, actually, yeah, I
you just
do,
don't want
but
to get
I want to
caught,
maintain some class as well. But one thing that I'm seeing is a trend of like, okay, let's jump on the bandwagon of AI. I've heard about it. Let's someone come and say, how do we incorporate AI into our technology? And you have to be more nuanced than that. And what I'm seeing a lot of is people just releasing chatbots, which is they're just rewrapping ChatGPT and putting it on their
there's some
website.
competitors out there that have got some pretty substantial results with AI. Everybody isn't totally bad. You guys are a step above a lot of what's out there. That's the answer.
We're studying, we're watching the research community. We're looking at the papers that are coming out. We are aware of what's going on in AI the moment that it's happening, and all this stuff is happening so fast. And these slow companies, these bigger slow companies can't move that fast. And maybe some of these other companies aren't thinking as forward as we can think. But the thing is like, yes, there are some good uses of predictive AI and some of the more classic AI. I've seen some generative AI do some cool extra things, but for the most part, we're just seeing like website chatbots, and that's a really simple thing that someone could actually just go to ChatGPT and do, and they don't need to go to your website to do it. And that's not ultimately a super helpful use of the AI. Again, it's a tool that you have to use. And kind of going back to what Nick said, is that people don't realize that we're on the cusp of seeing AI really start to be allowed to take actions. And that's really scary for us. We don't want to have a Terminator situation, right? And so we all kind of joke about that, but it's becoming trustworthy in the sense that it can send emails and they're going to be good. It can send texts and they're going to be good. It can pull out, like Nick was saying, it can like look at a conversation and say, oh, they mentioned this thing about their trade. I'm going to go put this in their trade application for them. Like it can discern well enough to do actions.
Very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it has the ability to do that. But I think it's responsible also to do this in a way that it's responsible to do it in a way that is actually, you can't just let GPT go out into the Wild West and handle all your customers' communications for you. It's continuously being worked on. It's like even practically in beta itself, right? So I think one thing that I would warn everybody with is to really walk before you run with it and understand how it's affecting your customers.
There's a very relevant question coming up. We've been talking about sales BDC, sales AI. Mm-hmm. Address service BDC, your CRM and your AI. CRM and AI.
So I'll give away some secret sauce here, just because it's we're not going to be the only ones that do this, and I think I just want to paint a picture of, and if anyone here wants to go start their own piece of software, if you want to start prematurely losing your hair, then like go right ahead. But so service BDC, all right. What's one of the biggest problems in service? not just set an appointment, not just, do cars fall off the lifts, shit happens, right? But really the biggest problem is that my car's in service. I don't know where it is. They told me it would be done Tuesday. All the service techs are busy. We don't really know what's going on. Now, right here, service follow-up, right? You could do all of those things in service. You can say, hey, your car, it could be the pizza tracker, the Domino's pizza tracker of your service, but that still doesn't give you the picture of like, hey, it's Tuesday, thought it was supposed to be done Monday. Where is that? So if you now have a database internally of your appointments, your parts, your service drive, your customer information, and someone asks a simple question, hey, when's my car going to be done? And it knew, hey, it's in the bay with Taylor right now, but it looks like we've got a part that it's waiting on and it will be here tomorrow. Please let us know if you have any additional questions. That's just an answer that customers want, but they can't get a hold of anyone in the service department. So if you start thinking about just generalized follow-ups and updates and everything, if you give AI, more specifically a conversational generative AI, the ability to have access to any data, you'll be able to create better customer service from that. Not just on the follow-up side, not just on the CRM side, but a customer wanting to know where their car is.
One of the biggest things I see that is a problem in service, and it's on the screen right now, is declined service. The service advisor, the service writer said, hey, look, you're going to need brakes. And the customer says, well, can I go a while longer on the brakes I have? And the service writer doesn't sell it. Now the CRM has got it into CRM and goes to AI. AI says, you decline service. Let me tell you a problem. Pick it up from there.
Yeah, well, you declined it. I mean, you know that it still needs to be done. You know it's got 60,000 miles on.
Can AI sell it?
Can AI sell it?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question. AI, look, can they sell? What is sales, right? Sales in today, and what AI can be in charge of is marketing and direct communication. Marketing is sales to the masses. One-on-one sales is just communications with someone specifically like you wanting to, not get your brake pads changed and riding around on your squealers, right?
What I'm asking is, can AI contact that customer 2 weeks from now and say, hey, you declined service on your brakes. Are you still thinking about that?
Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
You've got all the data there. I know that this customer came in for service. I know we recommended this. I know they declined this. And if the goal is to get those customers back in, for sure, it just needs the information.
Absolutely.
I was getting at Repair Genie, that a lot of the independent shops are using. The avatar actually engages the customer.
Yeah, and that's what it's just having its own AI-driven follow-up schedule, but using the data that it has available and knowing that, hey, Jim still needs brake pads because he didn't get them changed.
And it's gonna do that. Jim, you're asking that, can it do an upsell there? Can it, try to?
Can it do an upsell? There's the word. Okay.
Yeah, and the thing is like each dealer gets to define its goals for the AI. It tells the AI, hey, we want to do this, this, and this. We want to upsell service and put a big emphasis on this.
The dealer, and our voice. What you want the AI to do, and you guys will design the AI that does that.
We don't even have to touch it. You in the CRM, you have the tools to you literally just type it what you want, and you say, our dealership goals are this.
You ever see the movie Home Alone?
Yeah, and so like back to the upsell thing is like, if it knows that it needs to upsell a service, like a service system is going to have a lot of details, of course, but it can't conversationally know the context. So our AI is going to be looking at the conversation. If the service department and the sales department have this thread here of what's been going on and the conversation that's been going on. The conversation is a lot more telling of like what is actually happening. And so the AI is going to intuit that there's an opportunity to upsell because that's what it's been told its goal is. And so it's going to do that if you tell it to.
And if you want to answer any of your specific questions, the phone number is on the screen on the ticker right now on the crawler, or you can go to Space.Auto. They didn't select .com, no, not .net, .auto. Space.
We're car guys, baby.
Space.Auto, Nick.
Space. Oh, I can't, Jim. That's the problem. It's Space.
Space.Auto. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we got a lot of comments coming in. Okay.
Yeah, garbage. Look, that's the thing. Garbage in, garbage out. But that's true with every part of the CRM or with any data set at all. And that's one reason that we wanted to, build something that was all encompassing and clean that, because, a CRM or any communication tools is only good as the information that you have. And most dealerships struggle with that. They can't tell you an accurate closing ratio. They can't tell you how many leads they really got. Were they duplicate? Were they lost? Were they bad? And that's really why we have to connect all of that data into one centralized location, because, in order to have the power, use the power of AI, you need all of these buckets of information and be able to filter that data accordingly. So, garbage in, garbage out is an age-old problem, but using AI and using the right stack of tools, you can do your best to, reduce that. Now, can't do anything about, someone, emailing you with I like big butts 25@gmail.com and, filling your CRM with things like that. But we can always do our best to be able to always be looking at the most valid data, whether that's from the DMS or the website or the CRM, and be able to really, capitalize on your customers in the best way possible. So, that's been an age-old problem that I think AI actually has an ability to be able to help solve. Is the cleansing of those processes.
Yeah, another thing too is that like you can get all this data. So one problem is that like you want the data but you don't have the data. The next problem is we have the data but it's like fragmented across several different systems, right? And so how do I do anything with it? And then you get all this data and you're like, what do I do with it? Like I don't actually know how to interpret this and how to use it, And then the next problem is like, okay, now that I understand this insight, if you even get that far, it's like, how do I pass that on to my team so they can communicate with that insight? And, that's part of the thing that like AI is going to do really well for our industry is like be able to, as Nick said, clean it and help turn those into valuable insights that can actually be used practically by anyone on your staff, even the janitor. If you got a janitor, maybe you're the janitor.
Why not?
Why not?
There you go. What do you think, Nick?
Okay, that's a great comment. That's a great comment. AI should listen to every convo and add to profile to react before the sales staff or writers with offers. Speak to customers via text, offer, not email. That's you've got the picture, right? You're having a conversation. You have website browsing history. You might even have access to some APIs that give you soft pull and give you bank rates and things like that, right? You have the ability to be able to analyze that. A human being cannot go and look at all of that. And if you start thinking about it, it's like, okay, check the CRM, check their credit manually, check your inventory, build the deal, check your bank rates. Can you get them financed? It's like when you start thinking about everything that we have to do to sell a car, it's like if I told you that that was the process, you'd go, surely there's got to be a more simple way than that. Now we've got the picture of the more simple way.
Yeah. That would be hard to manage just for one customer, not to mention that, everyone here is managing multiple customers, and juggling, all sorts of different information, whether it be like anecdotal It's like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, this lady's really interested in safety because she's got kids. It's like, that's anecdotal evidence. And then you've got like, she looked at this minivan 3 times. It's,
Yeah.
it's hard to take that kind of insight and put those pieces together for every single customer that you're dealing with. And so that's where, superpowers come in. It's like, the AI can say, hey, like, clearly she's in the market for something with like a 3rd row of seats. Like, let's get her into that Suburban that has like a high profit margin,
Exactly.
Yeah. Look,
As we
sitting on a
wind
sales
down
desk.
this broadcast, we got a ton of people on the sidebar. I mean,
Lots. Thank you for all your great comments, by the way. This is, you're right again here. It's sitting on a sales desk on a Saturday, or even in the service drive with 10 customers waiting, it's no walk in the park. And AI can analyze that data instantly without you having to do that. And that's then you're the superhero. Then it's not the AI is not getting credit for selling the car. AI is not getting commission. AI is not having getting a great CSI score from the customer. It's still going to be you, right? You still get to take the credit. You just have this superpower of having all of that analysis done and really at your fingertips immediately. So that's
what I'm noticing is we have a lot of GMs and dealer principals in the audience. So a lot of people are interested in what you had to say today. And
it's really good to hear that GMs are interested in how this technology is going to influence their businesses, because the stupidest thing you could do right now is say like, this is a fad. This technology is as big or bigger than the internet was when it was becoming mainstream and available. Like, this is the type of impact that this technology is going to have on their businesses. So the smart GMs are here right now, and the smart principals are here right now.
For sure. Yeah, we're in the I'd say we're in the dial-up AOL. Remember when those AOL CDs used to come to your house, and we were like, this internet thing could really take off. That's
I had internet in 1994, and the AOL, the little running guy across the screen, he'd be running across the screen, and he'd be going. And all
those were the good old days.
Get off the phone! Get off the phone! I'm on the internet.
Nick and I were just trying to put together our basic motor skills at that point, I think.
Oh, you were in Pampa.
Yeah, I was trying to put the triangle block in the square block at that point.
Oh God, I had AOL. I was an early adopter.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's good to be an early adopter because people think you're crazy if you're an early adopter.
I still have an AOL account. That's what I use.
I know. I've emailed you, Jim.
Look, I've got Gmail, of course. I've got Xfinity. I've got 10 websites that each have their own separate email that goes with my website. I use AOL because that's been my permanent address since 1994.
It's like having a vintage car. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm not going to trade it in, man.
It's like having a split window Corvette.
Yeah.
AOL email.
People say, well, why do you still use AOL? Because it works.
Funny.
We have burned through an hour. Taylor, thank you. Anything you have to say before we get off? We got about a minute.
No, I'm just really excited that people are energized by this topic. And, if you are interested in what we're doing, we'd love to talk to you more about it. If you got questions, Nick would love to talk about this all day. So would I, but I'm not in sales. So.
Okay, Nick. Nick, what do you want to close out the show for us, Nick?
No, I just don't want people to sleep on this. I don't want people to be scared of AI. I want people to go away from this knowing that if implemented correctly and prescribed properly for the dealer, it can save them time, can save them capital, right? And also can make the experience better for their customer and give them the information that they want. So if anything, walk away with this knowing that it can give you superpowers. And I'm taking Taylor's right here. It's not your enemy. It can give you superpowers. And everyone is in sales.
Everyone is in sales. Sales is the world's oldest profession. Now, some people want to tell you something else is the world's oldest.
I was going to say
she had to sell. She had to sell it first.
Oh.
She did. She had to close.
Oh,
I'm going to stop there.
God, Jesus Christ.
Wave goodbye to the audience.
Yeah, thank you guys.